Under the NBA's bright lights, heroes are made, banners rise, legends get carved in stone. But behind every highlight and trophy, shadows creep, scandals the league wants buried, secrets they pray you'll forget. Some stories don't fit on a poster. They hide in courtrooms, back rooms, and locker rooms, whispered when the cameras cut away. Today, we're dragging them into the light. This is NBA Explained. And these are the scandals that stained the hardwood forever. Karl Malone, the secret he never paid for. Before Karl Malone was the mailman, delivering unstoppable buckets and bruising elbows for the Utah Jazz, he was a towering 20-year-old kid at Louisiana Tech, hiding a secret no one in the NBA wanted to touch. Back then, Malone impregnated a 13-year-old girl named Gloria Bell, a child still in middle school, and then walked away. Gloria gave birth to Demetrius Bell, who grew up with no father, while Malone turned himself into a Hall of Famer, Olympic gold medalist, and one of the greatest power forwards the league has ever seen. For years, Malone dodged responsibility just like he dodged defenders under the rim. He refused to acknowledge Demetrius, never paid child support until a court forced him to settle behind closed doors when Demetrius was nearly grown. No suspension, no fine, no league statement, just more rebounds and MVP votes. Meanwhile, Demetrius taught himself football, made it to the NFL, and carried the last name of a man who pretended he didn't exist. The mailman delivered on the court, but never at home. Tim Donnay, the ref who bet against the game. In 2007, the NBA's worst nightmare didn't wear a jersey. It wore a referee's whistle and a smug grin. Tim Donnay wasn't just calling fouls and technicals. He was secretly fixing games from the inside out, turning his striped shirt into a license to print money. For 4 seasons, Donnay placed bets on matchups he controlled, feeding inside information to mob-connected gamblers who made millions while fans watched clueless from their couches. He knew who was hurt but hidden from the injury report. He knew which refs had grudges or favorites. He knew which superstar would get every borderline call when the game got tight. And while coaches yelled and players argued, Donnay's secrets turned locker room gossip into pure gold for the people in his pocket. When the FBI finally kicked in the door, Donnay cracked wide open. He named bookies, turned over wiretaps, and told the world the league's worst fear. Maybe he wasn't the only one. Commissioner David Stern called him a rogue ref, just one bad apple in pinstripes. But every suspicious whistle since still echoes through the league. Donnay did 15 months behind bars, but the real-life sentence was for the fans. Now we all wonder if the game can ever be truly clean. Donald Sterling, the billionaire banned for life. For years, Donald Sterling was the NBA's dirtiest open secret. The longtime Los Angeles Clippers owner built his fortune off real estate deals and court battles, and built a reputation for racism and discrimination behind closed doors. Players whispered about him, employees filed lawsuits, housing discrimination cases piled up, but the league mostly looked the other way. That all changed in 2014 when the world heard it straight from his own mouth. On a leaked recording, Sterling told his girlfriend not to bring black people to Clippers games, not even Magic Johnson, one of the league's most beloved legends.
That bothers me a lot that you want to broadcast that you're associating with black people. You have to. You could sleep with them, you could bring them in, you could do whatever you want. The little I ask you is not to promote it on that and not to bring them to my games.
The audio hit the internet like a bomb. Players threatened walkouts, sponsors pulled their money overnight, and the NBA was suddenly cornered with no more excuses. New commissioner Adam Silver, just 3 months on the job, dropped the hammer harder than anyone expected. Sterling was banned for life, fined $2.5 million, and forced to sell the Clippers at record value. When Sterling finally left the building, he took decades of quiet tolerance for bigoted billionaires with him. The NBA got a new owner in Steve Ballmer, and a harsh reminder that some scandals are too rotten to hide, no matter how big the luxury tax check. Michael Jordan, gambling with the GOAT. Michael Jordan was untouchable on the court. 6 rings, 5 MVPs. The ultimate closer and the face of basketball's golden age. But off the hardwood, his appetite for competition didn't stop when the final buzzer sounded. By the early 90s, whispers about Jordan's gambling started bubbling into tabloid headlines. High-stakes golf matches with shady characters, marathon poker sessions, tens of thousands of dollars riding on a single putt. In 1993, the rumors exploded when Jordan was spotted gambling late into the night at an Atlantic City casino, just hours before a pivotal playoff game against the Knicks. He lost both the cash and the game. Then things got darker. A convicted drug dealer published a book claiming Jordan owed him $57,000 in unpaid gambling debts. MJ called it personal business, insisting he never bet on basketball itself. But the stories refused to die. When Jordan shocked the world by retiring for the first time in '93, the conspiracy theories roared louder. Was it burnout, or was the NBA quietly suspending its biggest star to dodge a gambling scandal? The league and Jordan have always denied it, but even now, the legend of MJ's gambling ghosts haunts the NBA today. Latrell Spreewell, the choke heard round the league. December 1st, 1997. Supposed to be just another practice day for the Golden State Warriors. Head coach PJ Carlesimo, known for riding his players hard, shouted at Latrell Spreewell to put a little mustard on a lazy pass. What happened next is still one of the wildest moments in NBA practice history. Without warning, Spreewell snapped. He lunged at Carlesimo, wrapped his hands around his coach's throat, and choked him for nearly 10 seconds until shocked teammates finally dragged him off. But it didn't stop there. Spreewell stormed out of practice, cooled down for about 20 minutes, then came right back inside, throwing another punch at Carlesimo before being restrained again. The NBA had no choice but to make an example out of him. The league handed down a 68-game suspension without pay, the harshest non-drug-related ban ever given at the time. Sponsors fled. The Warriors voided his contract, and Spreewell's name became a punchline for crossing the one line players never cross. But talent is talent. Not long after, Spreewell was back in the league, an all-star again for the Knicks and Timberwolves, dropping 20 a night like the choke never happened. But that clip, that moment, still lives on forever. Chris Paul, the trade that wasn't. December 2011, Lakers fans thought they just pulled off the steal of the decade. A blockbuster three-team deal was in place. Chris Paul, the league's best point guard at the time, was headed to Los Angeles to join forces with Kobe Bryant. Showtime was about to be reborn in purple and gold, and the Lakers looked ready to reload for another championship run. But the ink never dried. Just hours later, NBA Commissioner David Stern, who at the time was acting as the de facto owner of the New Orleans Hornets, shocked everyone by stepping in and killing the deal with two icy words: basketball reasons. No injuries, no violations, just basketball reasons. Owners of small market teams were furious about the Lakers stacking more superstar power. They lobbied Stern behind the scenes, arguing the league couldn't let big markets keep swallowing the little guys whole. Stern agreed, and just like that, the deal vanished. Chris Paul never put on a Lakers jersey, Kobe never got the elite floor general he needed to chase a sixth ring, and Lakers fans were left furious and confused. Paul landed with the Clippers instead, turning Lob City into a nightly highlight reel. But to this day, that veto remains one of the most controversial power moves in league history. A what-if that still stings in LA. Dennis Rodman, hoops diplomat to a dictator. Dennis Rodman was never a stranger to controversy. Piercings, tattoos, Vegas benders during the finals, and famously rocking a wedding dress to promote his book. But nothing topped the headline he wrote after his NBA career ended. In 2013, Rodman took his bad boy reputation global, landing in North Korea as an unlikely personal guest of dictator Kim Jong-un, a brutal ruler who starves his people, runs prison camps, and tests nuclear missiles while laughing courtside with the worm. Rodman called Kim his friend for life, sang him happy birthday on live TV.
Birthday to you.
And even assembled a ragtag crew of retired NBA players to play awkward exhibition games in Pyongyang. Meanwhile, human rights groups and world leaders begged Rodman to speak out about torture camps, public executions, and starving families. He didn't say a word. Critics slammed him as a pawn, a clownish sideshow, propping up a dictator's propaganda machine. Rodman insisted he was doing something bigger, building bridges through basketball, using his fame to open doors no one else could. Maybe he was. Or maybe he was just the only man on earth who could turn rebounding titles and dyed hair into backdoor diplomacy with the world's most isolated regime. In Rodman's world, there really are no rules. James Harden, MVP at the club. On the court, James Harden is a walking bucket. Crossover, step back three, foul, rinse, repeat. An MVP, a scoring champ, and one of the most unstoppable offensive weapons the NBA has ever seen. But off the court, that unstoppable streak takes on a whole new stat line. VIP sections, bottle service receipts, and club appearances, so legendary that one strip club reportedly retired his jersey after he dropped 6 figures in a single night. Harden's love for nightlife has never really been a secret. Rockets insiders whispered that when Harden hit the road, certain club owners smiled bigger than the home scoreboard. Some cities allegedly saw his numbers dip if the after-hours scene was too tempting. So much so that opposing fans joked about trap games having a whole new meaning when Harden was in town. Yet for years, the buckets never dried up. He'd drop 40 on the court, then drop another 40 grand at the after-party. It didn't matter until it did. When the Rockets fell apart and trade demands piled up, critics wondered if the endless parties finally caught up to Houston's franchise player. In a league built on grind and discipline, Harden built his own brand, proving you can score at night on or off the hardwood. Ja Morant, the superstar who can't stay off live. Ja Morant should be the NBA's next great highlight machine. A young star with a jaw-dropping vertical, fearless drives and a swagger Memphis fans live for. But off the court, Ja keeps testing just how much trouble a franchise player can make in the age of social media. In March 2023, Morant stunned the league when he went live on Instagram flashing a gun at a strip club. The Grizzlies suspended him. The league investigated, and Morant promised it was just a one-time lapse in judgment. He apologized, met with the commissioner, and vowed to make better choices. But just months later, he did it again. Another live stream, another gun, another suspension. Critics blasted him for wasting his potential, sponsors pulled back, and questions swirled about who was really in Morant's inner circle. Was he trying to live out a rap video, or just addicted to pushing boundaries no matter the cost? Despite the controversy, Ja's talent hasn't disappeared. He's still one of the league's most electrifying young stars, but now every dunk comes with a side of side-eye. For the Grizzlies in the NBA, the hope is simple, that Ja learns what he's risking before the next live stream goes live. If you learned something new, hit subscribe, drop a like, and stay ready. The next scandal is always one bad decision away. This is NBA Explained. Stay locked in.